Hello everyone, my name is Jonathan Hill. I am the U.S. History teacher for your child's U.S. History class. It's so great to welcome you guys to conferences tonight, and although we don't get to be together in person, I am hoping to give you guys some important information via this video, and if you want to touch base with me during either of the conference nights to go over any more details about things or specific situations related to your student, I'm more than happy to do that. So, just to be clear, this is a U.S. history course covering from about the time of the American Revolution to just past the American Civil War. To start things off this year, we've been talking about foundations of government, talking about the ideas that influence things like the Declaration of Independence in the U.S. Constitution. These include people like John Locke and Thomas Hobbes and their ideas of the social contract, and also the state of nature. We are currently working on the Declaration of Independence and another document called the Articles of Confederation. The Declaration of Independence obviously sparked off the American Revolution, and we've been going through that document and talking about the influences on that document and the ideas that Thomas Jefferson had when he was writing it. We've also gone through the document and talked about the different ideas and words that are in it, because it's a tough document to kind of break down, but we've been spending a lot of time with it. We're also going to be talking about the Articles of Confederation, which was a system of government that was put in place before the Constitution. It ultimately failed and led us into the Constitution itself, and understanding it helps us understand the reasons why the Constitutional Convention was called. The beginning of the year always involves a lot of newer type concepts and a lot of theoretical type concepts when we're talking about systems of government. So it can be tough for some of the students who are used to a more maybe direct type of history where you're just talking about more facts and figures and that kind of thing. I'm hoping that I've provided a lot of resources to help all of our students. Our primary mode is Schoology. Now, Schoology has been introduced by the district as a way of communicating digitally to the students, and it's also in place in case we have to go virtual at any point. So I've been trying to utilize it as much as I can so both the students and myself can become more familiar with it. The majority of my assignments have been coming through Schoology. And the way that works is I can create assignments either through Google Slides or through various PDF editors that will allow the students to see the document or the questions that we're working with and then make edits to it that they can then submit through Schoology. We've had a few technical issues with it here at the beginning of the year, but it's a bit of a learning process for both the students and myself, and I think we've worked through quite a few of them. Of course, because of this, I'm being very lenient on my late policy. Typically in the past, anything that was late I would mark down by 10%, but for at least this first quarter and maybe beyond, I've been very lenient with that because I want students to be able to get the work completed, and I know it's been a bit of a struggle sometimes learning this new technology. It's very important that students come with their Chromebooks charged to class because we are utilizing them every single day in class, and that's probably true for most of your students' teachers as well. Now, in addition to Schoology, I also have set up my website in a new fashion. If you look at Mr. Hill's website, you will see that each week is listed on there, and I try at the very top to give a summary or a syllabus to what we're doing every single week. That way, if a student is absent or if you want to check up to see what your student is working on that week, you can see everything right there. I try to provide copies of the homework, the notes, study guides, anything that we're working on in that class, I try to put up there as much as possible so both you and your student have access to it. So anytime a student might be absent from class, they can check Schoology, and they can also check my website, and everything should be there that they would know. And of course, they can always send me an email to ask me questions as well. Recently, we had one of our very first tests in this class, and it was on the foundations of government. And by the time you're watching this, we probably will have taken our second assessment on the Declaration of Independence and Articles of Confederation. With my assessments, if a student receives below a 70%, they can do something called test corrections, where they can come in during hawk hour and they can go through the questions that they got wrong, figure out what the right answer is, and kind of have it explain to me why they chose the wrong answer and why the right one is correct. With that process, they can earn back up to a 70% on their test. So there should be no reason for a student to get below a 70% in any of their assessments in my class. If you guys ever have any questions, please feel free to email me or call me during my prep. My prep is on A days. It is from the times of about 8:10 to about 9:50. That would be the times that I would be available. And of course, you can send me an email, and if you just want me to call you during a certain time, I'm more than happy to do that as well. If you have any other questions specific about a student in my class, please set up a time during our conference time, and I'd be happy to pop online and talk to you about any individual situation. Or if you need to talk on the phone, we can do that as well. Thank you, and have a great night.